Welcome back to the video, and in today's video, we're making every single fast food restaurant. You can see the tiers above. We have S tier all the way down to F in the I've never had tier. I've done this video a couple more other times on my channel, but I have visited a lot more restaurants now, and I visited more restaurants that I liked earlier. Now I don't like as much. So I'm going to give you guys my full opinion, my more accurate opinion of ranking every single fast food restaurant. Before we get into the video, please sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel down below because we're on the road to 1K and you don't want to miss out. We're so incredibly close, so if you're new and you like the content, please sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into it. In the first restaurant we are going to be ranking is Arby's. Arby's sucks. Arby's is trash. Arby's is going to go into F tier. Arby's is not good one bit. I think Arby's is one of the most overrated restaurants. The only thing that they have that's good is their curly fries, but their sandwiches and their burgers suck. And whenever I go into Arby's, it seems like it's a messy place and there's like no light in the store. So F tier for Arby's. Next up, we have Jack in the Box. I'm putting Jack in the Box into C tier. It's not bad. It's decent. I do enjoy having it at once in a while. It's just a little bit heavy. The burgers are quite thick and juicy, but there's like more cheese than anything. It feels like a very unhealthy burger, which doesn't make it as good as like a regular burger. But the fries are good. You can get on the side with like a soda. It's not a bad idea. I'll put it in C tier. It's pretty average. Next up, we have A&W. So I've actually never been to the restaurant, but I have had root beer from A&W, and it's pretty good. I'll put A&W into B tier because I have their root beer before, but I've never actually went inside the restaurant. Next up, we have Auntie Anne's. I just recently started trying Auntie Anne's a bunch more. It's going to go into A tier. It's not quite S tier because it's a pretzel place. That's all they do. You can't really put it too high because it's not really a fast food restaurant. It's more of a mall restaurant. But every single time I have Auntie Anne's, it's been amazing. I mean, you can get them with you can get pretzels with like pepperoni in them with cheese dip. You can get them with like a strawberry lemonade. It's amazing. A tier for Auntie Anne's. Next up, we have Boston Market. This is one of the ones I never had because I don't really live on the East Coast. I think that's more of an East Coast thing than a West Coast thing. Yes, I've never had it. Next up, we have Burger King. I'm not gonna lie, Burger King's gonna go into D tier. It's not that good. It's very, very overrated. Burgers, they're fine, but the Whopper is not good. The fries are horrible now that they changed it to make them more thick and just it seems like quite like refrigerated fries that you can get in the grocery store. It's nothing special. And, chicken nuggets they're not the greatest at. The only thing they do well is they can make sometimes good shakes, but I don't really like Burger King. D tier. Next up, we have Checkers. I've never had Checkers before. Again, don't know if that's an East Coast thing or whatever. I think that's more of like in the East Coast for sure, like Southeast. But I've never had it before. Next up, we have Chick-fil-A. So again, we're coming up to two things, Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, which I actually did not try before I did the last tier list. But I have gone to try both them, so I'm gonna give you guys my accurate opinions. Chick-fil-A is the most overrated restaurant I have ever seen on this planet. It's gonna go into a high B tier 'cause it's not bad at all. Chicken sandwiches, they're fine. The fries, they're good. But there's nothing that wows you about it. It's not an S tier, it's not an A tier. It's just decent. It's solid. Chicken sandwiches, they're decent. They're fine. I've had some before. I had like three, and all of them tasted just decent. And the fries were good, to be fair. The waffle fries are really good. But I never, when I ate the meal, said, wow, this is amazing. It's just kind of B tier. But on the other hand, I did try Chipotle. I'm putting Chipotle in S tier. Since the first time I tried it, which was like maybe 3 months ago, I've had it at least 5 times. And every single time I've had Chipotle, I've been amazed by it. It is so incredibly good. I normally get the burrito bowl, extra guac, and a side of chips. It's so incredibly good. It honestly feels also kind of healthy, but it tastes amazing. It feels fresh. S tier for Chipotle. Next up, we have Cinnabon. I'm gonna say I've never had, but I do know what they are. They make cinnamon rolls, and cinnamon rolls are pretty good, but I've never had it before. Next up, we have Jimmy John's. I'm gonna put Jimmy John's into C tier. It's just average. It's not bad. I don't think it's the best sandwich shop out there. I think Jersey Mike's is the best, and I think uh, Subway's the worst, and we'll get into that later. But Jimmy John's is fine. It's decent. The only thing I will say, sometimes their sandwiches are a little bit small, or they'll either be too small or they'll be too big. They kind of cram it sometimes, so it's C tier. Next up, we have Dairy Queen. So last time I did rank this S tier, but I've kind of gone to think about it. It kind of has to go into A tier, I think, at the top of it because I never had their food before, and they are just I just had their blizzards. Their blizzards are incredible, but I'm not gonna put it S tier because they don't have a lot of versatility. Because I've never really had any like their burgers. I know they have a lot of stuff, And if that stuff was good, I'd put S tier, but I've never tried it before. But the blizzards are amazing, so I'm gonna give it A tier. Next up, we have Dunkin' Donuts. I honestly don't know. I've had it one time. I had it one time, and honestly, it's a C tier. It's quite average. I prefer Starbucks over Dunkin' Donuts, in my opinion. It's fine. Coffee, I don't drink coffee, and the donuts were kind of mid. Next up, we have Elevation Burger. I never had it before. Next up, we have El Pollo Loco. There's actually one really close to where I live, but I've actually never gone around to try it, so that's another one. Man, we got a lot of them we haven't tried before. Next up, we have Five Guys. Five Guys has the best fast food burger, but the fries are not good. The place itself is not good. I'm gonna put Five Guys in the top of B tier because their burgers are really, really good, but the place is always messy and dirty inside, and also their fries are horrible, so B tier. Next up, we have Carl's Jr. or Hardee's. I'm gonna put Carl's Jr. because that's how I call it always, or Hardee's. I'm putting that into B tier, I think. Probably bottom at B because I think it's a better version of Jack in the Box. Very similar stuff, at least to what I get in both establishments. I enjoy having the Carl's Jr. food more than the Jack in the Box food. But I wouldn't say Carl's Jr. is amazing. It's just fine. It's again similar to Jack in the Box. It's a little unhealthy, and the cheese is like kind of disgusting, honestly. So B tier. Next up, we have In-N-Out. I do like In-N-Out. I'm gonna put this into a low A tier. I think In-N-Out is a really, really good burger spot. It's really solid. Again, I think it's more of a West Coast thing than an East Coast thing, but I do enjoy having it, especially like the fries are really good, and they kind of put a healthier spin on it. Still an unhealthy fast food restaurant, but they have like tomatoes in their burgers, so it's a little more healthy than usual. Next week, Jersey Mike's, like I said about this, Jimmy John's, I put into where I put Jimmy John's. I put Jimmy John's into C tier, so I'm gonna put Jersey Mike's into B tier, a little bit below Chick-fil-A. I'm not a big sandwich shop guy, honestly. I would rather have Chick-fil-A and all those things above it. But I think Jersey Mike's is a better version of Jimmy John's. I think it tastes better. I think there's more meat in there, and I think overall the flavor profile is just a better version of Jimmy John's. Next up, we have KFC. I've had it a couple times. I just think Popeyes is better. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Popeyes is better in every single way. I'm gonna put KFC into C tier and put at the top of it because I know it's not bad. It's just I always prefer to have Popeyes over KFC. It just KFC feels a little too crunchy. I feel like the chicken is a little dry sometimes. Next up is Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm putting this into A tier. It's a similar situation. I'm just gonna put them right next to Dairy Queen because it's a similar situation to Dairy Queen. They're really good at one thing, but you can't rank them insanely high like in the S tier because they're not really versatile. But again, just like the Blizzard with Dairy Queen, the donuts at Krispy Kreme is incredible. It's so incredibly good. But I gotta put A tier because I can't put an S tier because they only make donuts. Long John Silver's, I've never had it. Next up, we have McDonald's. I gotta put McDonald's in S tier because I think it honestly gonna go to the top because although some people actually, you know what? Recently, I've actually had Chipotle more, so I'll put Chipotle higher. But I think McDonald's, the iconicness of it, the amount of times I've had McDonald's, the amount of joy I would have when I go to a McDonald's is absurd, and I still do like it now. I think the chicken nuggets are underrated. I know people don't like them because of the goo. Yeah, it's not great, but it's not bad. The burgers are decent. The fries are insanely good. I'm gonna say S tier. Next up, Panda Express. I'm putting this into. It could be S tier. It's between high A or S. I'm gonna put it in bottom of S tier. I actually haven't had Panda Express in a while, but when I did have it, it was super good. You have to get the right thing there, though. My opinion, the noodles are kind of overrated, but I do really like the orange chicken. Next up, we have Panera Bread. I'm putting this in another S tier. Putting this ahead of Panda Express, not ahead of McDonald's or Chipotle. I think Panera might be the most underrated establishment for fast food restaurants. It is so incredibly good. Just get this. Get my order, and you'll really enjoy it. Mac and cheese with bacon bits in it, with a baguette on the side. It's like Panera Bread's kind of like a talk space. Like you go get some food and you talk to people. They have sweets, they have cookies, but they also have meals and it's so incredibly good. You can get sandwiches, you can get mac and cheese, you can get anything you really want. It's super versatile, and I do love Panera. I order it a ton, so it's gotta be S tier. Next we have Popeyes. We're on a little S tier rampage. I'm putting it probably ahead of Panda Express, not ahead of Panera, but I do really like Popeyes. Popeyes is so incredibly good. It's the better chicken spot than I think KFC is. I think the biscuits are amazing. The chicken sandwiches obviously are amazing. The fries are great. It's always a fun experience when you go to Popeyes. Next with Quiznos, I've never had it. And again, Raising Cane's, I've seen a Raising Cane's before, unfortunately, so I've never had Raising Cane's. Next up, we have Sonic. Sonic, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna put Sonic into never had. I feel like I've had it before though. I think there's some around us, but I never had it before. Steak and Shake, never had it. We're on a little never had it rampage right now. Next up, we have Subway. Now, this might be one of the most controversial takes you'll ever see. Subway is gonna go into F tier right now, and here's the reason why. First of all, there's no meat on their sandwiches. It's basically just lettuce, and that's it. Second of all, it is not even that good. If you can, honestly, you know what drives me away from eating Subway is the smell. This disgusting smell makes me want to avoid Subway whenever I smell it. I used to love it as a kid, but now I just realized how fake it is. It's not, there's no meat, there's no lettuce. It's just a bunch of bun and a bunch of lettuce, and that's it. Next we have Taco Bell. I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting Taco Bell in the B tier. I know it's gonna make a lot of people mad. I'm not the biggest Taco Bell fan. I used to be a huge Taco Bell fan. It's kind of similar to Subway, honestly, where the smell just kind of drives me away. It's definitely a place where you're gonna be on the toilet if you have it, because it's just all beans and cheese. Not a great system, but I just don't think Taco Bell is that good. I think it's overrated. Next up, we have Wendy's. Wendy's gonna have to go into S tier. It's gonna go ahead of Panda Express, ahead of Popeyes, ahead of Panera Bread, ahead of McDonald's, not ahead of Chipotle. I think Chipotle is honestly my favorite right now, at least. I enjoy having it the most, but Wendy's is so incredibly good. I think it's better than McDonald's because I think the burgers are really good, the nuggets are pretty underrated, and the fries are very, very solid. So S tier for Wendy's. Also, it's just another restaurant that I recently got to try around. I mean, it wasn't like recently, like 2 years ago, but it's really good. Next up, we have this is Wetzel's Pretzels, right? Wetzel's Pretzels are gonna go into C tier, probably like top of C tier because I think Auntie Anne's is better, but it's another mall pretzel place. That's pretty much it. They sell pretzels. That's it. They're decent. They're fine, but it's never a restaurant that I'm gonna want to go to. Whataburger, I've never had it. White Castle, I've never had it. Which, I have never had it. And Zaxby's, I have never had it. And that's me ranking every single fast food restaurant. Yes, there's a lot of fast food restaurants I've never tried. I will try to get to some of them, so when I do this list again, I will have some more that I've actually tried. But this is the list below. A lot of S tier, a lot of B tier, and a couple of Fs. And that's me ranking every single fast food restaurant. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!